seconds.
I'll leave a spot open for you, Wendy. If you don't make it, write this phone number down. I'll give it to you over the air if you don't make it. Or I'll text it to you.
$10 seconds.
How many listeners are you up to, Dave?
Hold on. Can't multitask.
Okay. Sorry.
Caregivers, have you ever felt like nothing is going right? Well, cheer up and welcome to Dave, the Caregivers Caregiver radio program on Health Star Worldwide, where you'll learn how to avoid that dreaded thing called caregiver burnout and how to survive the grieving process. They say that there are only 3 types of people in the world: those who are caregivers, those who will become caregivers, and those who will someday need a caregiver. Join Dave and his guests now and every Tuesday at noon Pacific on Radio Star Worldwide as they share practice tips and tools that you can start using immediately to help get you through this day so you can live your caregiver life more fully and abundantly. Now, here's your caregiver host, Dave Nassaney.
From Los Angeles to Big LA, welcome to all my listeners out there in Radio Land, and it's a big land. I am Dave, the Caregiver's Caregiver, coming to you live globally through the famous Radio Star Worldwide Radio Network. Excuse me. Yes, folks, I am the guy who's going to help you and guide you through this very difficult journey called caregiving. And we're going to do our very best to help you avoid that dreaded thing called caregiver burnout. And we have an exciting show planned for you today. I don't think I've ever had an occupational therapist on before. This is our very first occupational therapist, Wendy Keller. She's going to answer your caregiver questions, so stay tuned. You will not want to miss this show. Hey, if you're new to the show, and we get many new listeners every week, especially from the Blab Television Network, I am your host, Dave Nassaney, and this show is to caregivers of every single kind. And the one thing we know about caregivers is that they are caring, and they are selfless, and they are sacrificial. And oh yeah, they are very prone to burnout because they tend to put everyone else's needs above their own. I mean, everybody. Folks, learn a lesson from the airlines. In the event of an emergency, put your oxygen mask on first before you attempt to help your loved one with their mask, because they know from experience that if you don't do that, you will most likely black out and you won't be of any good to anybody with anything. Got that? And we also talk about grief and loss here and the devastating effects that it can have on us. It automatically throws us into this other thing as if we didn't have enough things going on. Ouch. Unfortunately, folks, only one way out of the grief process. Got to go through it. Can't go around it, over it, under it. Got to go through it. And we hopefully can help you through your grief and your loss if you let us, if you happen to feel like you're stuck. Hey, I want to thank my last week's guest, Tammy Bacco, and her wonderful advice that she gave us. So you can tune into that show on my website, caregiver.com. That's caregiver.com. You can listen to any show we've done here. We've got over 100 of them. And just check it out. They're on recorded podcasts and YouTube videocasts if you don't like staring at the walls. What else have I got to say? Well, you know what? Just for go into my website, and we have this quiz called Are You a Candidate for Burnout? And if you take that quiz, you know what I'm going to do for you? I'm going to send you a copy of my very first book, One Arm, One Leg, 100 Words, Overcoming Unbelievable Hardships. So if you have some unbelievable hardships in your life, you need this book. So check it out. It's absolutely free if you take our quiz, and you'll also find out if you're a candidate for burnout, and we give you some tips and clues on what to do about that. All right, enough of that. We are starting our show. We were having trouble getting our guest on. I see she's not signed in yet. Wendy, are you there? She's almost signed in. Well, let me visit and welcome my wonderful co-host, Adrienne, the lovely Adrienne Gruberg, who currently is up to 150, 160, who knows how many it is, 1,000 followers. Not there yet, but soon. I was just checking. 4 short months ago, Adrienne, you were at 80,000. So in 4 months, you've picked up 150 minus 80. What? Wow. Amazing. You must give me your secret.
Oh,
So how was your week? You had a migraine last week and couldn't join us.
there are tons of caregivers out there that
Wow.
you need our help and have to find us.
Well,
Right?
I hope you're feeling better.
I am. Thank you very much.
So what brings those migraines on?
Stress.
Stress? You have stress in your life, Adrienne? You need to take the advice of our guest 2 times ago with the relaxation techniques and the. Have you tried that again?
I do it very well.
Okay.
It doesn't last very long, but that's me. I have a high stress level. Yeah,
That's good.
But
And I should also introduce our engineer. Used to be Blade, but now he calls himself Sammy. And he never shows us his picture, so I don't know if he's really, really good looking or he's really, really not good looking. I don't know.
So that's not Blade anymore.
I know. Say hello, Sammy.
Hello, how's it going?
Good. Well, he has a nice voice. I can imagine what he looks like.
Do you want to see the man behind the curtain, the Wizard of Oz type thing?
Absolutely.
I do.
Let's see if I can. Let me
Helps
see.
the
Fix
event.
the camera. Hold on.
I bet you're better looking than that mixer. Wendy, how are we doing?
Well, I pushed the button that says call in. So
Really?
that'll work.
And the title of the show is Occupational Therapist Wendy Keller, etc.
Yeah, I
Push it again, because I didn't see it.
Okay, hold on. I'm gonna try unplugging it and removing it.
spinning into the wheel.
Should I send her the link
How would you send it to her?
by email?
I've already sent it to her by email. I think she's having trouble with her email.
Yeah.
She seems to be. Oh wait, I see something here. Follow Wendy Keller. But how can I get her? All right, dead air. Sammy, are we ever going to see your face?
I'm working on moving the camera right now.
Oh, hey, don't worry about it. Too much trouble.
No, don't worry. I'm gonna get it. Don't worry.
So, Wendy, where are you at now? What do you see? Do you see something that says call in?
I see lots of things.
Do you see my face? Adrienne's face? Anybody's face?
About to see my.
Tell us. You have to tell us what you see, Wendy.
Well, I see things that say this does not support that. And then
Okay.
I see Chrome trying to open.
So how's her voice, Sammy? Can you hear her good enough
Yeah, sounds good.
via my phone? Okay. Well, Wendy, we're going to start the show. I'm going to put your picture up there so at least they'll see how beautiful you are. And heads up.
Well, if we get this to go, it might actually start at some point. And I'll talk until it decides to work. How's that?
All right. So, Wendy, you're a therapist, and I've never had one on the show before. I was doing some research on some questions that are frequently asked of occupational therapists. I've got some of my own, but first I want to ask you, what are the most common questions that you are asked by caregivers?
Well, I'd say that probably the most common question is, what am I supposed to do to help you or to help my loved one?
Mm-hmm.
With regards to occupational therapy. And I'd say that probably the most important thing is to actually be present at the session, because it's common that we see the caregivers say, "Okay, you're here," and
check out.
They want to know what we're supposed to do, but then they go, "Well, you're here, so I'm going to go do something else."
Yeah. So, what percentage of caregivers do that to you? Half?
Oh, I'd say more like 80%
Oh,
or
my.
90%.
Does that surprise you, Adrienne?
Yeah, I'm curious. Is it because they're overburdened, and when you're there, they're
I
free?
can't hear her, so.
Oh, she's saying, is it because they're overburdened, and when you come in, they look at as they get a break?
Or
I
is
think
it?
so. I genuinely think that that's what it is they see us as okay, you're going to take over for a half an hour, 45 minutes, an hour, and I can go take care of this other thing that I also need.
I understand. I wish you could hear me. I can't hear you. Nothing.
To take care of.
Tips and encouragement we all need to better handle the day-to-day challenges. For around $1 per show, just $29.77, get the credit card-sized USB card to have with you anytime you need a caregiver's pick-me-up. Just go to DaveTheCaregiversCaregiver.com and order yours today. Go to DaveTheCaregiversCaregiver.com now. Consider it an investment in you and ultimately an investment in them. Caregivers, have you ever felt like nothing is going right? Well, cheer up and tune into Dave, the Caregivers Caregiver radio program on Radio Star Worldwide, where you'll learn how to avoid that dreaded thing called caregiver burnout and how to survive the grieving process. With roughly 100 million caregivers in the U.S. and Canada alone, it's about 1/3 of the population. That means everybody probably knows somebody caring for a loved one. They say that there are only 3 types of people in the world: those who are caregivers, those who will become caregivers, and those who will someday need a caregiver. Mothers of special needs children, family members caring for elderly parents, spouses, siblings, or friends caring for disabilities such as Alzheimer's, dementia, cancer, stroke, heart disease, diabetes, muscular dystrophy, AIDS, autoimmune diseases. The list goes on. Join Dave and his guests every Tuesday at 12 noon Pacific on Radio Star Worldwide as they discuss avoiding caregiver burnout and surviving grief. You'll start feeling better in no time as you begin to receive practical tips and tools that you can start using immediately to help you get through the day and to live life more fully and abundantly.
Nothing.
You said you couldn't hear me. You can hear me? Okay. So we're back, right?
Yes.
Oh, good. I tell you, there's demons in the atmosphere or something. Now, Wendy, did you call in? Hello. Sammy, can you hear me? But Adrienne can hear me, right?
I can hear you.
Okay. Did Wendy call in? Okay. So she's going to call back, right? So I think she was saying, Adrienne, that yeah, it's like as a caregiver, I can speak that, okay, a therapist is coming. It's an opportunity for me to go shopping or something like that. And, a lot of the cases, elderly people get a lot of broken bones, especially hips, right? And a hip bone takes a long time to recover from. Some people never recover when they break their hip, right?
Yes.
And so occupational therapists, are the ones who are supposed to get them back going again. And, that's tough when you're 92 or something like that. But
my sister was an occupational therapist who works with children. And I once asked her, what does an occupational therapist have to teach a child? And she said, how to play. So because that's a kid's job. So you've got parents who are dealing with children with disabilities, or they're not. You can call them disabilities anymore, right? And they have to learn, I would think, how to work with their own child.
Yeah.
So that we're not just talking about people who are working with their parents or even their spouses, but it's this huge spectrum.
Yeah. I've told the story before about when my wife suffered a stroke and she, lost the right side of her body, and she's a gourmet cook. She's type A personality. So she wants to get back in the kitchen and do all this stuff. And her mother at the time was, helping out with caregiving when I was at work. And she would always come to her aid. Oh, no, honey, let me get that. Oh, no, I'll do the meals. Oh, no, don't reach for that. You might fall. And whenever I was there, I would just do the opposite. I would encourage her. I says, come on, stand up a little higher, step on your toes. I think you can reach it, And she would look at me, her mother, as being cruel and insensitive. And so when the occupational therapist came, she says, oh, no, you are doing the right thing. We need to push them. Otherwise you're going to create this dependent creature who will feel like they can do anything. And as a result, my wife, gosh, God bless her, she can do anything. I come home, she's done the laundry, she's done the cooking, she's cleaned up, she can bathe herself. I mean, she's like a one-arm wallpaper hanger. I wonder, well, where are the elves that were helping you today? And so I like to pat myself on the back and take credit because I was very therapeutic during her occupational therapy. So where is Wendy? Did she come back? Sammy? Talk, Wendy. Did you hear what we said? But you can hear me now, right? Yeah, we were talking about how when my wife had a stroke and her right side was paralyzed, I was always pushing her and, encouraging her to reach those top shelves because she loves to cook. And her mother was saying, "Oh, no, you're cruel. Let me get that for you. Let me do the cooking. Let me do this. Let me do that." And really, she would have created a dependent person. And on the contrary, I created a very independent person. You see a lot of that? Because you met my wife, right? She's very independent, wouldn't you say? Absolutely. Yeah, she does take good care of me. Probably the worst breaks, bone breaks, are our hips. We were talking about when you were gone. That's a hard one to overcome, isn't it? Especially if you're older. Some people never overcome the hip, right? Puts them in a nursing home, and then chances are they're not going to make it. Is there hope for hip breaks? Or does it depend on how old you are? Can you still hear me? Is that a no? Is that a yes? Wow, is she like calling on a cell phone or something? This interview is not turning out well, is it? Well, a good thing I have Adrienne that I can talk to. Let me know when she's back, Sammy.
The thing about hips is there are a lot more people having hip surgery
It's
early
come a long way, hasn't it?
in life, so that they don't wait until they're elderly and their hip goes.
Well, why would a person get a hip surgery if they haven't broken their hip?
Because their hips hurt.
Oh.
And it's not as though, I have a lot of contemporaries who have had hip surgery already. I need knee surgery.
What are you waiting for?
What am I waiting? I'm waiting until I just can't take it anymore.
So you're not following your own advice, in other words.
No, hips are different than, I know a couple of people who've had both hips done at the same time.
Oh, wow.
And we're walking in a matter of days. It's really miraculous. Whereas if you're elderly, it's going to be harder to come back.
Yeah. She's back. Are you on a cell phone, Wendy? Are you using Wi-Fi? Yes. Yep, that's what we need to do. So you agree about the hip thing? I mean, a hip break is not necessarily a death sentence, right? Even if you're older.
That's encouraging. I said, that's very encouraging. I need knee surgery. Mm, yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I just wanted to know if there's a difference in the recuperation if the person has broken their hip or the surgery is elective. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes,
Yeah.
totally.
So do you recommend one or both at the same time? Even with the knees, do you recommend one knee or both at the same time? And the third question, here's a triple braided question here. Adrienne obviously admitted she's waiting until she can't stand it anymore. Is that pretty common, and is it wise? Yeah. The knees, one or two. Let me interrupt you there for a moment, Wendy. There are, when you come to a place, a home, you do mostly home healthcare, right? So are most of your patients, the disabled loved ones, or are they the caregivers of disabled loved ones, or are they both? Are most of your patients, when you come to home, are they the caregivers watching after someone? Or are they the actual disabled ones who have a caregiver? Yeah.
Wendy, I have a question. When you're teaching someone, let's say how to feed themselves again, do you recommend implements, and do you teach them how to use special spoons and cups and all that stuff? Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah, the reason I even bring this up, sorry for interrupting, Wendy, but the reason I bring this up is because so many times, and I know Adrienne agrees because we talk to the same people, caregivers, and how many times, Adrienne, have you heard, someone's taking care of a Parkinson's patient or a stroke patient or you name it, and the caregiver is like almost crippled themselves, both knees are gone or a hip is gone, and they're just putting off this surgery because they're caring for this person, and in essence they're kind of more disabled than the person they're caring for.
There are so many kinds of different things. I mean, I know, people who have terrible backs and terrible hips and terrible knees, and they're taking care of somebody else.
Yeah.
And
They
this
should
is
be in the hospital, and instead they're lifting heavy things,
no,
lugging this person around in their wheelchair.
they want to be at home and be independent, but they need to be shown how to lift themselves up, let alone being shown how to lift up somebody else. So,
Hmm. That's a good point. So you do minister to the caregivers, not only to the patients. That's great. Right.
there, especially if you're not there.
Yeah.
Right. Because you've got to teach this person how to bathe the other person sometimes, just how to lift them into the shower or the tub, how to get them out. And yeah, Yes.
All right, listen, we need to take another break. And when we come back, I want to ask you the difference between physical therapy and occupational therapy and when to get one and when to get the other. So don't go away.
But I flip. You want the same frame for all three?
And we're back with Wendy Keller, occupational therapist. So, Wendy, what's the difference between an occupational therapist and a physical therapist? Do your duties kind of overlap each other? And when do you get one? When do you get the other? For those that don't know. like exercises, stuff like that. So you're teaching them how to eat, how to cook, how to prepare things, how to reach for things, just in an occupational sense. Hmm.
And something like with with something like that, would you figure out how to move things and arrange a kitchen to make it easier for that person?
The ergonomics, so to speak, of where things are.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, you don't give cooking lessons, huh? That's extra. So, so you work for a home. You do three different things. Like you work for a home health agency. You kind of do things on your own, and you work at a facility too. Remind me what it is you do. Hmm. Yeah. Mm. Well, I so you're busy. Oh, cool.
Right.
Yeah.
That
Well,
way
listen,
it works.
what'd you say, Adrienne?
I was going to say that way it works very much for the caregiver, teaching somebody, making somebody's home safe
Right.
so that you don't have to be there for them constantly.
And it's all about the caregiver with this show. Well, listen, I can't believe how fast this hour has gone. Thank you so much, Wendy, for coming on. In the next couple of minutes, just tell us if somebody wants to get a hold of you or has further questions or wants to employ you or whatever. How can someone get a hold of you? And the number one more time, 714 1455. All right. Anything else to say, Adrienne?
No, I asked my questions.
Well, Wendy, thank you again so much. We appreciate you coming on. And I guess I'll see you. For those who don't know, since my wife broke her ankle in a power wheelchair accident, she kind of fell over a curb because she didn't see it. She didn't have her seatbelt on. So Wendy's been coming in and helping her out, and appreciate all you're doing. Thank you so much for coming on the show. And don't forget, we're here every Tuesday at noon Pacific time. So God bless you, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.